He's had one opportunity. I don't know what you guys want these players to do. They can only do what they can with what's in front of them. It's silly. Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video, and check us out over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you want to enjoy this as an audio only experience. We are back with hot takes, and we have hot takes for this year's regular season. No more history shit, no more bitching about stuff from last year. We got new basketball to talk about, so let's go ahead and do it. I'm not happy with the first take out of the gate. You guys gave this 500 likes, so I guess I'll just show it, but Rusty could easily pass as a high school senior and a 42-year-old divorced dad of 3. What I don't understand, why is it always divorced? Every time I hear this is that I'm divorced. Why can't I be a 42-year-old man happily married with 3 children? What's up with that? I mean, statistically, half of marriages, if not more than that, end in divorce. So there's a good coin flip odds there. As of yet, not married. As far as I'm aware, no children. I'm also just a little bit overweight, which adds a little bit of age to you. I used to be a lot of bit overweight, but anyways, I don't know what to tell you. If I shaved this beard, I would look my age. I would probably look awful, frankly. I think I look much worse without any facial hair, so I'd rather you think I look like a sexy 40-year-old than fucking ugly-ass 25-year-old, so whatever. From Chillboy Joe Kim, the Lakers will be a top 2 to 4 seed with good health. So far, they are 3-0 at the time of recording this video. Their offense looks revamped. They are attacking the offensive glass. The defense looks great. Anthony Davis is being utilized more appropriately as the main option, which is something that a lot of us have been asking of the Lakers for fucking forever. Like, can you please treat Anthony Davis like the superstar player that he is? But so often they don't, and then AD is a little too comfortable with deferring sometimes, so that he just kind of floats around on the offensive end. Always has a remarkable impact on the defensive end, and I feel like people get a little too used to that and never credit him for it. But offensively speaking, they have had an approach that has been so much more interesting and so much more dynamic than fucking anything that we have seen from Darvin goddamn Ham. And on that front, if they are healthy, and this offense continues, the defense looks great, the offensive rebounding, which is a part of their identity when they won a championship, remains, then I see no reason to believe that this exact thing will not happen. 2 seed might be ambitious, but top 4, I could absolutely see it. And for me, I'm all for it. I'm especially all for seeing a competitive LeBron team. I would like to see another year or 2 of LeBron on a team that doesn't necessarily have high championship odds, but at the very least, I'm not like, oh, first round exit guaranteed at the absolute best if they even make it. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from them, and I think it's fairly sustainable. They haven't even necessarily had the greatest shooting games. Their first game against Minnesota, they shot like 5 for 32. So I really like what I'm seeing from them. From Will FRM Doc, Chet is one of the best center prospects of all time. There's almost nothing on the floor he can't do. He's a really efficient scorer, and he's elite level defender. I genuinely believe that within the next 5 years, if he were able to be on his own team, he could be the #1 on a contender. And if it wasn't for him having the same rookie season as maybe the best center prospect of all time, he probably gets more praise than he already does. I think a big part of the reason that Chet is probably focused on a little bit less is because he isn't that first option. He has SGA on the team. J-Dub gets quite a bit of attention. And OKC in general as an organization, they're kind of looked at a little bit more as a collective just because we've been watching them accrue this treasure chest of assets for the past couple of years, and we wanted to see what that will actually format and look like throughout the team. So I feel like the focus has been on the team at large rather than him individually, and sometimes there hasn't been enough attention drawn to how ridiculous he is as an individual. So I will give you that. I would say, as for his scoring, sometimes his jumper can be a little wishy-washy. Sometimes his release is a little slow, especially from 3. Sometimes he's a little bit too prevalent to take a mid-range shot. That said, that's about as far as my criticism goes. Otherwise, I think he'll be a good shooter, both from 3 and mid-range mostly. Good enough finisher despite being scrawny as hell. Decent screener despite being scrawny as hell. Good at attacking off of the catch. Good at driving. Just excellent stuff across the board. And then he's a phenomenal defensive prospect who also isn't, the negatives of him being skinny are dramatically overblown, and that's not even something you have to worry about now that he's playing the power forward position, although you are talking about center prospects. I mean, yes, he's one of the best of all time. Would I say he's like top 5? Would I say he's like top 10 even? Maybe not. Maybe not top 10, but maybe. It's possible. We'll have to see. I wonder what his ceiling actually looks like, because There's something about him to me that screams won't get substantially better throughout his career, which, even if that were the case, he's already a very good player. Like, you could argue that Chet has a chance to make an all-star team this year if OKC is good enough. I agree with you, is what I'm getting at. From A.A. Davey. Hot take, Kawhi is traded by January. I know they just gave him a contract, but I can't see them letting a 35-year-old Harden shoot 30 shots a night in the new arena. I think he's shipped out for some young pieces and picks. I don't really know what you can get in terms of young pieces and picks. I mean, he played 70 games last year, but that seemed more a product of the NBA being harder on tampering, not like he was actually, like, substantially healthier. I think if Kawhi is traded, James Harden's getting traded right along with him. I don't know. The Clippers are such a fucking mess. Because there's no way this team contends. Even if Kawhi was healthy the full season, even if James Harden was healthy the full season, even if they traded some draft picks for like another good role player, I still don't even think I'd consider them a top 5 team in the Western Conference. Even though Kawhi in the playoffs can go God mode, like that's the only thing they'd have in their favor. Otherwise, as a team, I would be completely disinterested in them. From Jack Martin, OKC is not the surefire guaranteed team to come out of the West. While they had great pickups this offseason, personally, I don't trust third-year J-Dub as your second option or second-year Chet. Not saying they won't make it out of the West, just saying a team with 0 playoff experience having to beat 2 of Dallas, Denver, Memphis, or Minnesota is a tougher ask than I think a lot of people give it credit for, considering the improvements Dallas made, Memphis being healthy again, and don't forget Jokic is still the best player in the world. What would you consider last year to be? Because they did get experience last year. They played the Mavericks last year with a significantly worse team, and in a series that they probably could have won. Frankly, for how bad Josh Giddey was in that series, if you just sub him for Alex Caruso, and then on top of that you have Isaiah Hartenstein, on top of that you have an improved J-Dub and Chet, I don't think you can say this is a team that doesn't have experience. It might not be a litany of experience, but I think you're overvaluing the amount a team needs. They played in the postseason last year. They played well. They lost to a more experienced team, no doubt, but that kind of felt inevitable in that case. But, I mean, how long are we going to do this fucking experience thing with them just because they're a young team? Young teams can win. OKC went to the finals in 2012 because at a certain point, you're just too goddamn talented. And in the case of OKC, experience aside, that is the case. On top of that, they've got some vets in there now. It's not entirely a young team. Caruso and Hartenstein coming into the fold. So, nah, I'm not worried about that on them. I'm going to have to disagree with you. Not that it's like a surefire. I don't think any team's a surefire to come out of the West. I don't think any team's a surefire to come out of any conference, really. From Yulim, KD is a great scorer and a negative playmaker. If the second part was false, his team would have gone deeper. Dude would have rings. I don't think you can go as far as to say that he's a negative playmaker. Not as good as you would maybe like, considering the amount of scoring gravity he carries and the ability to get the attention of the defense. Maybe. Negative playmaker? No, that's silly. From Clutch Money 33, Cade Cunningham will win MIP next year, not only making the All-Star team, but will make the All-NBA team and will be top 10 in MVP discussions. Finally getting some spacing around him. Even if it's slightly worse than mid, it's going to be huge for the space that he should be able to be operating at, getting at the rim, and creating for guys. The Pistons will be in the playoff discussions, I think. A 22-23 Shea type of year from Cade could happen. Well, I have seen a little bit too much inconsistency from Cade on jump shots that weren't even super contested ones for me to say outright that he's going to be like as good as that version of Shea. Yeah, I think you're just overselling this. I think it's okay to say he can be an all-star and in MIP conversations, but I doubt the Pistons make the playoffs. They're so far 0-3. They've been competitive in all of their games, so that's different, but I still don't think they're going to end up having a super high record, and you're not going to get top 10 in MVP discussion. Maybe you can get top 10 outside of the playoffs. I mean, after 8, it's just like one vote at that point, really. Who cares? From Nintendo Gamer, elite level role players should be prioritized/highlighted in the lottery picks of the draft. There is an unnecessary expectation of the top 5 to 10 picks to become all-star level players. The lambasting of those lottery picks stifles their growth to become elite role players. Someone like Aaron Gordon has flourished as an elite role player with no all-star appearances, even though he was drafted at 4. I think this is highly dependent on what draft class you have, because you do have years where there are 5 guys, upwards of 10, who have potential star level upside. Where I would steer the conversation is they are putting too much stock in potential. Potential is a thing that could happen, and a lot of people act like potential is a thing that will happen, and if it doesn't, it's because they were robbed of that version of history where that player worked out. Sometimes you're just Aaron Gordon and you're a really fucking good role player and you don't make all-star teams, and that's fine. You don't need to be that type of dude. And like what I'm thinking is like this last year's draft, especially because last year's draft was not good by every metric, by every account from everybody who I trust on the draft stuff, like a hilariously bad draft class in terms of star talent. So the Grizzlies took Zach Edey with the 9th pick, and a lot of people freaked out about that, but I'm going, if they just think Zach Edey is going to be a great starting center for them, why not? If we're expecting a draft pick that's not going to be a star player anyways, what's the trouble in drafting someone you think will be a good 5 for you? I didn't really understand that reaction, and thus far, it's looked good. From Beast Dude, players that are good at one thing are normally not good starters. Yeah, I wouldn't say there is a single one. I wouldn't say there is a single starter in the NBA who, I mean, there's probably not that many starters in the NBA anyways who only really do one thing well. That's some shit from the past. Hell, there aren't even that many bench players who are like that. like only a shooter. Like fucking Doug McDermott just got signed to a contract by the Sacramento Kings, and I'm like, man, Doug McDermott's such a good shooter. How did it take him till now to get a contract? And I don't even think it's a guaranteed contract. And I'm like, oh yeah, we don't really have just shooters in the NBA anymore. If you think of guys who are just shooters in the NBA, almost all of them can attack a closeout or play defense or are a good playmaker. They at least are bringing one other thing to the table. Guys who just catch and shoot and that's it, not too common actually anymore. Just like, you know, the defensive wing who only plays defense and can't shoot or do anything on offense worth a lick, like a Tony Allen or Ronnie Brewer type of player, that archetype gone. We're done with that. No Andre Robersons anymore. The sport has just become so many layers of talented that all of these guys are star level players at some level of the game, so they develop ball handling and driving and playmaking. And then when they come up to the higher level where they're not at a star level at those things, they usually will become like a shooter who then will attack off of the catch, make a good pass, play versatile defense, things like that. Like Corey Kispert is a quintessential shooter, right? He's a movement shooter for the Washington Wizards, one of the most prolific catch and shoot guys in the entire NBA. But he also attacks off of the catch. He can hit a mid-range pull-up. He's very good at finishing in the paint. And he makes good reads in terms of making passes, not like a prolific playmaker, but a good decision maker. That's a guy who's not just a shooter, okay? Though you got, when you really think about it, man, everybody has a degree of versatility now. It's really just a matter, like when we're comparing it to the metrics of what versatility used to mean, dude, like a Draymond Green type of player used to be so stand out levels of versatile, where now just about every team in the league has a guy, not on Draymond's level, but just in terms of just being ridiculously versatile. That dude's on damn near every NBA team now, if not multiple. So yes, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. Oh boy, from Young Cracker. I don't like the narrative that Zach LaVine is a complete black hole in the playmaking aspect of the ball. He has seasons near 5 assists, which is good for a shooting guard, which was for a shooting guard is pretty good. And on top of the fact that those come with Lonzo or other playmakers around him, he was never made in the role to be a main playmaker. That last line is incorrect. There have been many instances where Zach LaVine was the primary initiator for the entirety of Chicago's offense on the perimeter. Back before the DeMar and Lonzo Ball era, he had plenty of on-ball reps. He had plenty of instances where he was the main ball handler for the offense without a shadow of a doubt, the highest usage, didn't do a lot of off-ball stuff, and playmaking is not just averaging assists. If you have the ball in your hands as much as Zach LaVine had the ball in his hands, you're going to find your way into 3 or 4. You don't even really have to do anything that nice with the ball. If you look at his assists during those years, they're usually basic ass reads, and you will regularly see, dude, this is one thing, man. I did not watch dozens and dozens, most of the games of the Chicago Bulls seasons when they were dog shit led by Zach LaVine, just to be gaslit into believing that he's a pretty good playmaker because he averaged almost 5 assists. No, you can average assists and not be that good of a playmaker. I realize that can be a concept that can be hard to grasp for people, but there are assists that you get from just making a basic read, and then there are assists that you get from leveraging your scoring gravity or making a pass that, if you have really great vision, is a pass that most people wouldn't have seen. Zach LaVine has none of that. It's got none of it. If you leave a pick and pop Vooch wide open, he'll hit him. If you leave a corner shooter open and you rotate over to protect his drop from the drive on the basket, he'll hit the corner shooter. But is he going to make a pocket pass? Is he going to do some flashy shit on the fast break? Is he going to drive inside, jump, get the defense to jump to contest him, and then wrap it around to the big man? No, he's not doing any of that shit because he's not a good playmaker. From Super Mario, Bam Adebayo should be traded and the Heat need to rebuild. Then we could see how good he actually is as long as it's a contender. Brother, the Heat have been a contender and have gone to the finals with Bam Adebayo. What do you mean? From Lebanese Demand, people are sleeping on the Warriors this year. Sure, it's just the preseason, but they played 6 games and went undefeated. The last time they went undefeated in the preseason was 2022. Steph and Dre unlocked the role players they picked up, and they're also well set for a mid-season trade if the opportunity comes up. I've liked what I've seen from Golden State. I've only watched one full game from them, and it was against Portland, so take that for what you will. But they looked like the old version of the Warriors, where it was swinging the ball around the perimeter, 3-point shots, good decision-making from all of your role players, and good defense. And that's exactly what we saw, and they scored. Again, it's against Portland. I understand Portland's not very good, but it's not like they're a roster full of NBA players, okay? Almost everybody who's in that rotation is an NBA player and belongs in the league is what I'm getting at. 140, and Steph had 17 of those 140. 17. Think of how much Steph usually would have to score for the Warriors to score 140 fucking points. Actually, just out of curiosity, I'm going to look that up. When is the last time the Warriors had that kind of a margin of victory? What's their largest one from last year? All right, so let's just look at all these games where they scored 140. This game versus Utah, Steph, he had 16. Okay, so point not proven on 4 for 14 shooting. It is the Utah Jazz after all. The Chicago Bulls, Steph Curry with 27, kind of rough shooting to be honest. Steph trying to disprove my point right here by playing like shit in all these games. He has 30 in this one. That's a little bit more reasonable, good efficiency. And in this game against LA, 144, Steph scores 46 of those points. So you get, I'm literally not showing you the basketball reference page. Fuck OBS, man. I keep forgetting this shit. This is the only game I'm going to bother re-showing you because it's the one where he had 46. Just pretend that's the only one so it proves my point. Look, what I'm getting at, Steph Curry has had too much fucking offensive responsibility. So for that to be reduced is exciting. Fucking Buddy Hield looks amazing. He's currently averaging 50.4 points per game per 36. Also, let me respond to this because a lot of people made this point because this was in a reaction to, I kind of misunderstood this guy's last take. What you didn't understand about the this is from Black Dragon. Rusty, what you didn't understand about the SGA part being overrated. What he's trying to say is that SGA isn't that young and he's around the same age as Booker, Tatum, and Luka, yet doesn't get the same critique. He has no playoff success and only won one playoff series, whereas the other three have done more. He's not young anymore, and we need to see more playoff success now, not in 3 years when he's almost 30. He should be criticized like Embiid for lack of playoff success. I don't agree, because Booker, Tatum, and Luka have all been gifted with way better circumstances. Not to mention, SGA was a little bit later of a bloomer, which is fine. That's fine. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, first All-Star appearance, 22-23, when he's at the age of 24. These seasons before that, he's averaging decent points on a rebuilding OKC roster, not even playing a majority of these games. Then, first time OKC has a roster to be competent, they go 40-42 while he averages 30 a game. Rookie of the Year J-Dub, second year J-Dub this next year, plus Chet after he was injured this year. So, like, he has had exactly 1 year where it made any sense for him to be in playoff contention. Meanwhile, look at Devin Booker, who peaked at a much younger age. Devin Booker's first All-Star game was 23. He's at 26 points per game at this point, and frankly could have been an All-Star earlier, except his team wasn't winning, just like with SGA. And then, how old is SGA? What is his fucking age? He is 26 this season. So by 26, Devin Booker had been a 3-time All-Star, would have been 4 if not for being injured this year and being a replacement. So we are talking about a good couple of years ahead of him. Now let's look at Jason Tatum, who especially blossomed early. He was an All-Star at the age of 21. Literally, he's the same age as Shai, but he has had a roster capable of going to the Eastern Conference Finals all of these years. They went to the Conference Finals his first year as an All-Star. They went to the Conference Finals in, I think that's his rookie year, or his second to rookie year, rookie year, yeah. So, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what you want. The guy's had more opportunity, and it took him a little bit longer to get really good. And that happens. We got to compare them on the footing of where they're starting point. SGA has had a year to legitimately have a case to go far on a playoff run. And then he lost in the second round in a series that he played very well in. His playoff stats last year: 30 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, 3 stocks, 50% from the field, 42% from 3. He played well when presented with the opportunity. The last time he was in the playoffs, he was 21. This is when he was playing with fucking Chris Paul in the bubble. He's had one opportunity. I don't know what you guys want these players to do. They can only do what they can with what's in front of them. It's silly. From Ash G, people will be shocked at how good Klay on the Mavericks will be. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if he was shooting 41% from 3 by the end of the season. I mean, yeah, that's reasonable. It's like his career average. Watch Klay's debut game for Dallas. I think he's going to be pretty fucking excellent. Is he going to be all-star tier again like he was a couple of years ago? No. Is he going to make Dallas virtually unguardable because he's another player on the floor that you just cannot bring a help defender off of? Yeah, that's a pretty key factor to their offense, and it's going to make life hell for any team that has to guard them. With that said, shout out to Nick for editing this video, and thank God we are finally back into the NBA season. I'm very thankful for it. That's it. Goodbye.